Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Evolving Entrepreneur Podcast. We are very excited to have you. Hello, 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 and welcome to the Evolving Entrepreneur. I'm very excited to have you on this episode today. Welcome, Zondra Holmes. I'm going to tell a little bit about your stuff, and then we're going to go straight into the process. Zondra Holmes, she started her business in 2021, which I'm really interested in that because, a lot of people started their business during the pandemic, so we're going to get into that. I know you stated that you've been pretty much booking trips since you were in high school, and that's currently what you do now. You create luxurious group trips for women over 40, which I would love to get into, like what made you choose that target audience as well. So, yes, the name of her business is Explore Blue Travel, and let's get into this. So, like I stated about, you started your business on Cinco de Mayo, which is absolutely amazing. First of all, I know you're not gonna never forget your start date because that's awesome. Tell me a little bit. What made you start doing in the midst of the pandemic, and on top of that, is traveling where they banned us from going to so many places. So, what made you do that?
So as you shared earlier, I was the go-to person every time family members, church members, friends. I was the trip planner, right? And I love it. Like I really, really have a passion about it. So
Nice.
me and a couple of other friends had a couples trip and we went to Hawaii. And I was looking to do something extra to supplement my income. So we were talking about it. And my best friend, she was like, "Hey, Z, you are really good at planning vacations. Have you thought about becoming a travel agent?" And I was like, I don't know. I never thought about that, right? So, literally, from that conversation in Hawaii, it was March of 2021. I came back home and like started doing my research, start trying to figure out like what company I was going to go with. Did I want to, like what method I was going to explore? Because there's so many different areas in the travel industry. And I was like, okay, let's do this. So within, like I said, 2 months, I was up running, for my LLC, opened my business bank account, did all the foundational stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just started booking vacations.
What made you choose to do it for women over 40, though?
So when I first started, as with any new business, you want to help everybody, right? So that was me initially.
Yes.
I was like, I want to plan vacations for everyone. I think women of color specifically, I want to see them travel more because me and my husband travel a lot. Me and my friend groups travel a lot. And to so many of these destinations, I don't see a lot of people that look like me. So first I was,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's just spread the net, everybody. But what I soon realized was everybody have different travel preferences, right?
Yes.
So some people want to travel in a certain way, a certain style, certain budget. Some people prefer resorts. Some people prefer boutique villas. So during my years, I just continue to refine my process. And then the people who love my services, who start referring others to me, I noticed that they met certain, like criteria. And I was like, okay, it's generally, women who are over 40, they are educated. So they have, most of my customers have like bachelor's degrees or above.
Mm-hmm.
They had like high demanding careers. And I was like, you know what? That's my target audience right there. So once I actually figured that part out, my business began to blossom more and I started attracting more clientele like that.
I love that. It's becoming seem like a more of a common trend that more and more people when first of all, you did the biggest thing and you started your business. And a lot of times people want everything figured out, but you started somewhere. And a lot of people get to the point where like, hey, I just want to have everybody. I want to serve everybody
Right.
with my gifts and I want to do that. And a lot of times as you continue to start your business, eventually the people that's for you, they choose you. It's almost like you don't even choose them, but they choose you. So I love that you stated that because a lot of people, they feel like they have to have everything, all the boxes checked to be able to finally start or do. And people
Right.
don't realize when it comes down to this entrepreneur journey and involvement as an entrepreneur, when you start and you do something, you take one step at a time, eventually those answers that you're looking for, they come to you. So
They
I
do.
love how that happened for you. So I do want to more so I want to kind of focus on like from the time you've been doing this like your whole life. A lot of us deal with imposter syndrome, right? I wonder, like, I know you said when you started doing all this research to make sure like this is where you want to take it, this is who you want to serve. Did you feel like for you to do so much research or something that you've been doing since high school, did you feel like it was inadequate? Like, did you feel like you had to do so much research to feel like, okay, now I'm ready? Like, how was that process for you?
So when I first, it's so interesting that you're, asking me this because I'm really big on credentials and certifications and, like having all of these titles behind your name because,
Yes.
in my mind, I'm assuming, well, you know what, travel agent, that's just, I mean, anybody can be a travel agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was not considering the wealth of experience and knowledge that I had basically started since I was in high school, right? Like I was
Right.
discrediting that. I was like, no, I need to get a certification. I need to get this so people could actually believe me and feel like, okay, she know what she's doing. So I did suffer with the imposter syndrome initially, and I'm not going to lie. Sometimes even now it'll come and try to sneak up and be like,
Yeah.
well, you don't have that so and so, so and so. So, like, are you really qualified to do this? Right.
Mm.
But what I started doing was I just started focusing on how many people am I helping? And once I start communicating with my clients and I got their testimonials and their feedback, and people would just like contact me in my DMs or just send me a message, it was like I'm reaching the right people and I'm
Yes.
pouring into them and they're pouring into me. So I was like, I know I got something good here. I just need to stay the course.
Yes. So, at what part, like, what are some of the things that you did to kind of get over that imposter syndrome? Because I love your vulnerability and how you say I even experience it now. So, and many of us do because that's the thing about the entrepreneurial journey. Like, you're constantly like elevating your stuff with each phase of your business. And when you face something new, sometimes that can creep up. So, what are some of the things that you do to kind of like overcome it and be like, hey, I'm back to the ball. I'm where I need to be, and I'm serving the people I need to serve, and then to understand that I am qualified to do this. Like, what are some of the things that make sure you tell yourself to get to the point that like, hey, I know what I'm doing.
So I surrounded myself with community. To me, community is so big because if you don't
Yes.
have community and if you don't have like minded people that are, fellow business owners, then it's going to be some days where you want to throw in the towel and you want to quit. But if you have
Yes.
a strong sister, a strong brother who can say, listen, today is just one day in that journey. Will you let that one day determine your trajectory, your future? Right?
Mm.
I was like, of course not. So it's like I consider it as a chapter in my story. Some chapters have been a little rough and rugged, right? And then other
Mm-hmm.
chapters were just beautiful where miracles happen and I discovered more about myself and about
Yes.
others. But community is so big. So I surrounded myself with different communities. When I first started, I was, in which I'm still currently in. So I found the TSP community and I was in Propel. And then eventually I went and joined the mastermind. So for 2 years, I was surrounded with business owners, entrepreneurs that I saw that were making moves and strides in their business. And I was like, if they can do it, why not I? Right? That
Yes.
motivated me and inspired me to be like, okay, keep the course, stay focused, trust the process. That's my term for 2024. Trust the process. And as long as I've been trusting the process, guess what? It's been working in my favor.
Yes, I believe that. Oh my God, I love it because community is so big, and just having somebody, a mentor, or somebody who have already gone before you, have done some of the things you've done, and to know that like, hey, they're where they are and they had bumpy roads as well. Like, why can I do it? And for them to surround you and like support you and give you that motivation to keep going, because like you said, some chapters are rough and some chapters miracles happen, and I love that because that is really true. And a lot of times people kind of want to jump into entrepreneurship and not understanding like, hey, sometimes having that steady job, you know that you have a steady paycheck coming in, you know, X, Y, and Z, but like being an entrepreneur, there's so much of uncertainty that you don't understand. Sometimes you don't know, you can have a full quarter that doesn't go well, and sometimes you can have a full quarter that goes amazing. So that is amazing that you understand that community is very important, especially when you have those bumps in the roads. When it comes down to some of the lessons you learned, like what would you say was the biggest hiccups or challenges that you faced, and like what was the lesson learned from that?
Oh my goodness. So one thing that I learned is that you cannot do it all by yourself. Like I was the person who, I'm semi-perfectionist, right? I want things
Mhm.
done right. I want things to be in order. I want to see the whole plan 360. And if I can't see all the things, I literally will just stop because I'm like, oh my goodness, I cannot see this working. So what I learned to do is I can't do it all. Like for the businesses that are working, like these enterprises, they have
Mhm.
departments, they have people ahead of different sub departments. They have the ability to delegate. So when I start
Yes.
delegating and start like hiring team to say, okay, Zondra, like, you know, you're not good at tech. Why are you trying to research this on YouTube University? Why are you
Okay.
Google this? Like, listen, that's not my, that's not my area of genius, right?
Yes.
Instead, why don't you employ somebody, hire somebody, subcontract somebody who is strong in that area and they can help me get there faster? But when I was trying to do it by myself, it was slow. I got frustrated. And then
Mm.
I did not remain consistent because if you are doing something you're not really good at, okay, I'm good at travel planning. I'm good at the curation of trips and the logistics and things, but some things I'm not good at. So why
Mhm.
am I trying to build a landing page when I know that's not in my lane, right? I need to hand that to someone else. So that's my biggest lesson is to learn what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, and then find people who can help you in that area and learn to just let it go. Like Elsa, let it go. You can't do it. Once I learned that, honey, it really, really helped me. Like it gave me a certain type of peace, but then also too, it gave me momentum. So those things
Yes.
that I was kind of put into the back burner, I was able to concentrate my focus on those areas that I was really, really good at and that I love doing.
Yes, and that is so true. And you know what? I want you to give a little bit more information because when it comes to delegating, right? When you think of, because I even been there, like, a lot of people, we are solopreneurs, like we have to wear many hats. And I had to understand that same thing. I came to the crossroad, like, hey, I have to delegate this. Like, I can't do everything. I'm over here, like you said, YouTube University, Udemy, all these different things, trying to learn new skills when I can be taking that same time to sharpen and focus on the things that I actually enjoy and what I'm here to do concerning my business, that area that I should be trying to perfect or make better. And when I had learned to delegate, that was hard because I'm like, the money I'm making, I'm not trying to like roll it back out, right? So, like, I know you said something that was really big, subcontracting, and that's what I initially started doing. I started going to other small businesses and I gave them work by subcontracting the things that I needed. They wasn't on like a consistent payroll, and that was kind of one of the ways I delegated. So when it comes to, do you like which path did you initially take when it comes to? Because I know a lot of times it's like we're thinking about the money, like I can't put nobody on my payroll, I
Right.
can't do this, I can't do that. So like what was the steps you took when it came to delegating? Was it like AI? Because we're in a new world where we do AI is very beneficial for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs who are just starting out. So what was your path?
So what I did was at first I started using tools or shall I say platforms like Fiverr and Upwork and things like that. And
Yeah.
then I'm also in different spaces with other travel business owners as well. So I had a small accountability group. So what we did was we kind of made a pact with each other as like for an example, let's say if travel business X, got an influx of customers or influx of quotes, one of us who was available, maybe that was our slow week or our slow month or our slow season, we can step in and help that person. We're still performing work for that travel company, but we're just doing, it's still their name, it's still their brand, all of that, but we're stepping in and we're getting a cut of the profit that
Right.
they,
That's awesome.
right. So that's
Hmm.
what I initially started doing, and then as you mentioned, honey, now AI is my best friend. Like
Oh,
literally, me and Chat GPT go together real bad. You hear me? Like, listen, Chat GPT try to break up
yes.
with me, I will be stalking it. Like, no, you is not about to break up with me. Okay. So I really, really started because you don't know what you don't know until you don't know, right? And I was
Yes.
like, everybody talking about this Chat GPT. I have no idea. But then I started learning, like, ooh, if I put the right prompt, and ooh, if I do this, and if I tell it this, it can do this. And it became literally my best friend.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes, you know what? Some people shy away from AI, but when you're in these spaces where you're like having to delegate so much and like you're starting up and you don't want so much money going out because you want to use the money that you're making to grow the business, expand it, you know. I also got into I actually teach classes about like how to utilize AI for your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I literally would have a business meeting with AI. Like we will be talking like I'm texting, like you said, my best friend. Like I'm in there. We having a whole conversation. Like, hold on, y'all. I'm in a business meeting right now, and it literally will help me gain so much clarity what my next step is, or it can help me utilize other things that I'm trying to do. But yes, like, and it's not, Chat GPT is an amazing one. It's a great one, but there's so many other
It is.
softwares and tools that are coming out there that people should like definitely look into and invest into to see which tools can be beneficial for their particular industry. So when it comes down to like understanding your industry, what would be a strategy or some tips that you would give someone else who wants to be in your industry or who's just starting out in your industry? Like, what strategies or tips would you give that person?
What I would say is do market research, right? Do market research to kind of figure out like what you want to do because travel is so broad. You can do so many things. So even if you niche down to a particular destination, like I know I have some travel friends that only sell one destination. And at
Mm.
first, when I first came into the space, I'm like, huh? But you make money, right? But it's riches in the niches, like literally, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Niche down enough where you are good at something, you are the expert, you establish yourself as the authority, then they know, okay, Zondra is that girl who sells the Caribbean. So when people think of the Caribbean, they automatically think, I need to contact Explore Blue Travel because that is their specialty. They know the Caribbean inside out. So I would
Yes.
say do your market research to determine if there is actually a need there. And then once you do your market research, of course, I'm real big on making sure you have like the foundation intact, making sure that it's done right, it's structured right, depending on if you're starting out with an LLC or if you want to do something else different, just do your research and your due diligence to make sure that you got, your banking information, you got your federal component set up correctly, your systems are in order so that you know how you can keep track of your clients and things like that. And then, like I said, get in community, get somewhere
Yes.
in some type of accountability group where people can hold you accountable and you can tell them like, this is my goals for quarter 3. This is my goals for quarter 4. And they can make sure that you are being consistent. Because one thing I do know, if you do not be consistent, you can think that you're failing because you're not actually putting in the work. And
Right.
this entrepreneurial journey, you have to put in the work every day. Like it's no
Yes.
days off. Like even if I'm not on my computer, best believe me or my VA, my team, we have set something up. Whereas to the client or consumer, you might think I'm on. I'm not really on. That post was already pre-scheduled. That
Mm-hmm.
blog was scheduled to go out that day, that newsletter, right? So you need to be consistent because people need to know that you're in business, right? If you're not top of mind, how do people know Explore Blue Travel still exists, right?
Absolutely.
Post for a month and somebody looking for a travel group curator, it's like, well, okay, she ain't posted on her Facebook in like 6 months. Do she still exist? Is the business still open? So that
Right.
will be my tips for anybody wanting to enter this industry because it's the travel industry is $1 billion business, like literally $1 billion business. You can niche down to, best food places, best shopping places. I know a travel business owner, her group trips are for bird watching. It's so many
Oh
different
wow.
things that you can do in the travel industry. And people just think like, okay, everybody does travel the same. It's so many different ways that you can do it. And once you realize what your passion is and what the market tells you, just keep on doing the research, keep on showing up and being consistent. And then in the return, you will reap the benefits.
Yes. And it kind of goes to like your brand. What is your business identifying with? Who you're trying to serve?
Right.
My question for you, like I see that like you're really repping your brand. You got the shirt on, you got the Explore Blue Travel, and then you even got the eyeshadow with the blue. Is there I do. Was there any deeper additional meaning behind coming up with the name Explore Blue Travel?
Well, when I first came up with the name, I kind of went with a lot of things, right? So I thought about Holmes because my last name being Holmes. I thought about, what I'm saying, making that a brand name. But then one thing that just kept on coming back to me, my favorite color is blue. Okay. And one thing about me, when I vacation, I like to go to blue places. So it's always going to be like a blue, it's going to be a blue beach, blue skies, something that's going to be blue. And I like to explore because every destination I go to, I discover something different about the culture, the people, the experience, like what life is actually like, right? So I was like, okay, explore, blue, travel. And one thing about me too, like I want this name to exist once I'm gone. Like I want this to be my legacy that I can pass on to my children's children's children. So
Yes.
when years come, they're gonna be like, okay, who is Explore Blue Travel, right? Explore Blue Travel is going to be a well-known name where it's like this is a global company. So I didn't
Yes.
want it to be too representative of my name because I thought about, well, I could do like Zondra's Destination or Zondra's Travel or whatnot, but I want it to be more broad so that it attracts, a variety of audience because even though I curate trips for women over 40 now, women of color, in the future, that is going to expand. So when that expands, I needed the name to attract the right people and the right
Yes.
investors and sponsors.
You know what? You are hitting things definitely like right on the nail because a lot of times when people start their business, they're thinking about the right now, their vision right now. And a lot of times people don't create business plans because, oh, I'm not trying to get a loan, I'm not trying to pitch anyone. But people don't understand that creating a business plan is about thinking about the future, the next 5 years, the next 10 years, thinking
Absolutely.
about legacy, just like you stated. And a lot of times we have to, and I have done it, there's no shame in my game. Sometimes you have to go through this evolution. Maybe you have to change your business name, right?
Right.
Because I started off with my business name being very direct, and it was about life coaching, where I no longer do life coaching, and I had to change. I had to do a DBA, So like sometimes things evolve, and you have to think about long term. What can you name your business where it's not I have to do a DBA or I have to change the name because eventually this is what you do now, but eventually you're going to expand. So like that's very important how you're already thinking, how you're thinking about legacy. And
Right.
a lot of times people they want to just make more money and don't understand that that's not just about creating and starting a business. That's your hustle. You want to
Right.
make money, take your gift and hustle it and make the money. But when you're talking about starting a business and building a business, it's about legacy. You want it to continue after you're not no longer here. And a lot of times people don't think that far and it typically doesn't last that far when they're not thinking about the future. And
Exactly.
one thing I do want to say, blue is also my favorite color. And so many people associate it with, oh, you feeling blue or you feeling sad, but you literally just gave it a new meaning. And now it makes me think of airy, vacation, and
Right.
a beautiful beach. So it just is so important how you tell your story about, the brand behind the name and how it came about, and people began to like see it as that and identify it. And that's how important branding is and speaking the message behind it. So that's amazing. I love that you did that.
You.
In your day-to-day, because being, I know a lot of us, we wear many hats even outside of being business owners, we're moms, we're wives. And what do you do for like personal motivation and to keep you inspired? Like you said, sometimes we hit rough patches. And like, how do you balance that outside life, your personal life with your business to be able to continue, like you said, being consistent, to stay consistent, to show up every day? How do you do that?
So I'm a believer in Christ. And I believe that, like, when I start my day, I either start my day with an affirmation or a scripture. Like, that's my focal point. I know that I'm nothing. I wouldn't even be here if it was not because of him. So because of
Yes.
that, like it will always be God first for me, right? So then after God comes my family. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I serve in my community. Like
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of different things. So affirmations and just like on my wall here, I have different sayings and different quotes to keep me inspired. Now what I recently started doing is I go look myself in the mirror and I pour and speak into myself and tell myself like, okay, you know what the plan is, you know what the goal is. And when I look myself directly in the mirror and I speak that my truth, then it becomes even more real, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's different when you talking to somebody about it, but when you look yourself in the mirror and you are living your truth and you are being in your truth and you know what you're doing, what your purpose is, it makes it more easier and your reality becomes like so crystal clear. And then also too, I attend Bible studies, on Wednesdays. My church has Bible studies for women every other Wednesday. I make sure I'm there. And then I'm also in different circles with other business owners that check in on me, that, just make sure that I'm doing well. But the big thing is prayer. Like I have
Yes.
to have my time where I'm praying with Jesus because it do get tough. I don't know if I shared this with you, but I also still work a full-time job. So I work a full-time job. I have, my travel business, and then I'm a wife. I'm a mother. My son just started attending college, so that's a new area in my life that I'm navigating. My daughter
Yeah.
does a bunch of different sports and activities. And then myself, my mom is still in Georgia. So, she's up in an age. I have to check on her. I got family, so it's a whole lot of things. So I think with prayer, saying affirmations, and just knowing why I exist, that's how I keep myself with just being peaceful and remaining calm. It's like, it's not the now, it's the future for me. And long as I
Yes.
keep that focal point, I'm okay.
Yes, I love that. I'm the same way. I wouldn't be doing none of this if it wasn't for God, because it's really hard. It's really hard. And I also work a full-time job, and I'll leave my job to go to a session, or,
Right.
to come do a podcast interview. Or then my daughter, she's young, she's 2, she's busy. Then I want to make sure I'm not neglecting her, giving her that my attention, and my husband. And it's the same thing, like you said. And I absolutely agree. I'm right there with you. Like, when things get overwhelming, it honestly takes God and remembering what the vision that He's already given me and what I'm trying to accomplish, like you stated, the future and stuff, to keep my mind set on that, and to understand that these times don't last long, and you can look to God for that guidance and everything. So definitely, I 100% agree with that. Just prayer, and honestly making that a part of your life, making it a real lifestyle. But yes, and so thank you so much, Zondra. I've learned so much about you, and I learn a lot from you as well, because I look to other, especially Black women as well, to like how they navigate and how they balance their life when it comes down to work and business and home life, because it's very important. And a lot of people start off with that. They don't start off just automatic quitting their jobs, or having so much free time. So a lot of people need to hear, like, different people, how they navigate with life with so many things that they have to balance. So I thank you so much, so much, so much, Zandra, for coming on here and doing this interview. And hopefully we have a chance to connect and do something like this again. If anyone want to reach you, like, what are some of your social medias or websites that you would like for them to know?
Okay, so if you go to Explore Blue, T as in Tom, R as in Rainbow, V as in Victor, L as in Lamb.com, that's my website. On Facebook, Explore Blue Travel, if you just type that in, you can find me. My handle on Instagram is Blue Lux Escape. And then lastly, on TikTok and LinkedIn, you can find me that same way, Explore Blue Travel.
Okay, thank you so much, Zandra. For those who are listening on different platforms, that her information will be in the description box. So just make sure you guys click wherever the description is at to get that information. Okay, thank you so much once again, Zandra, and I'm looking forward to connect with you again.
Thank you so much for your time. You have a beautiful day.
You too.